Afternoon, we have some two major conversations. The first one will have to do with the Arise Ghana demonstration that has just entered its second day. We are told it's going to be held for the next 2 weeks. A lead convener will be here in the studio with us, Bernard Mona, will be speaking to us later here on the program. And also, exactly 10 days from today, the new Patriotic Party NPP will be heading to the polls. Who will be the next flag bearer? As we've been told, the flag bearer now is not the leader of the party, the chairman. But in the next 10 days, 5 people will be appearing on the ballot box, on the ballot paper. I beg your pardon. Dr. Brian Champon, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Engineer Kobna Ejay Ejapon, Dr. Yao Erichum, and also Kennedy Ejapon will all be contesting to be the flag bearers of the NPP. We'll be talking about that as well here this afternoon with Akwesi Ewa Abebu, his former director of Diaspora Affairs and also a member of the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign team here this afternoon. But until then, my colleague Harriet Adi is on standby with the latest trends from across the country. Harriet, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
You look stunning.
Thank you. You look dashing. Anyways, let us bring you the bulletin. What is coming up this afternoon? The National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat has confirmed that one of its task force members was shot during an anti-calamity operation in the Bono region on Tuesday. And the campaign team of NPP flag bearer hopeful Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has expressed strong disapproval over recent personal attacks made by Kennedy Ejapon, describing it as baseless. And the National Democratic Congress has announced guidelines for the conduct of its upcoming Ayawase East Parliamentary Primary in the Greater Accra region. We have the details and more coming up shortly. First story, the Member of Parliament for Bia East, Richard Acheampong, has taken a swipe at former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, insisting that his decision to leave the country sends the wrong signal to the public. The Bia East MP says if Ofori-Atta has nothing to hide, there should be no reason for him to abandon Ghana, warning that the move is damaging the credibility and public image of the new Patriotic Party.
Same finance minister who was asked to resign said he can't abandon his children. And now, after your stewardship, there are allegations against you. Come and answer those questions. And you are saying you will not come back to Ghana. It tells you the man is a criminal. Initially, we thought it was an allegation against him. But the way he's insisting that I'm adjusting my status to stay in the U.S. I just returned from the U.S. this morning. They gave me 6 months to stay there, but I can't stay there for 6 months. Just 2 weeks, I'm back. And if you want to adjust your status, what crime have you committed? And you are not a small boy. You can engage all the lawyers that you want. Go to court, defend yourself, so that posterity will judge you. And he has brought shame to his party, his family members, and everybody in the NPP. So meaning NPP is not a political party that anybody should even waste his time on. Because after they are still watching, they will run away. No accountability. Is that how we govern a nation? So I don't know who is advising him. You have children, you have a wife, you have a family members. So if you sit back in future, even if you are a child, your family member want to contest as assembly member, who will vote for that person? Meaning that link is cut off. Nobody wastes his or her time supporting this kind of people to lead this nation. Because the conclusion will be that by the end of the stewardship, they will run away. It's a shame. It's a shame. All of us have been dragged to court. Myself, Gabby took me to court.
Now, away from that, the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat has confirmed that one of its task force members was shot during an anti-galamsey operation in the Bono region on Tuesday, January 20, 2026. The incident occurred along the Subinkrum-Tremaso stretch in the Doma Central Municipality. In a statement issued by the Lands Ministry on Tuesday, January 29, was said armed assailants hiding in the bushes opened fire when they spotted a team, leading to an exchange of gunfire. One NIMOS officer was hit in the thigh and was immediately taken to St. Matthew's Catholic Hospital at Apinkro, where he's currently receiving treatment and responding well. Now, during the exchange, one of the attackers, identified as Abu Ibrahim, was shot and later pronounced dead on arrival at the same hospital. NIMOS emphasized its commitment to continuing the fight against illegal mining despite ongoing attacks and urged stakeholders to remain supportive of its operations. The Secretariat assured the public of its determination to tackle illegal mining and protect the country's natural resources. Now, let us speak to security consultant Richard Kumado on this latest attack on NIMOS. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Now, this is probably the second time the team has been attacked. What should the leadership be thinking now in terms of strategy?
What I think that given the escalated hostilities exhibited by the illicit miners or the illegal miners and their accomplices, implementing a revised operational strategy towards a high-risk environment such as the ones they find themselves will be crucial. Then they must also adhere to the National Security Risk Assessment Guidelines. And once they do that, they make sure that the team members are reoriented, number one. They review the deployment plan, number two. And when it comes to incident response strategy, they will need to reassess it. And that will ensure that the safety test and the personal security test of every officer will be passed without being compromised.
All right, and you posited that implementing revised operational strategy tailored to high-risk environments and adherence to National Security Risk Assessment Guidelines is mandatory. What exactly do you mean in simple terms?
No, what I mean is that the environment they find themselves in has become very hostile. Their leader was attacked in Ahafo. One officer died in operation at Obuasi. Yesterday, one was shot. It means that publicly, it is a known knowledge now that the environment they find themselves has become very hostile. In a hostile environment, there are things you do and there are things you don't do, which means that the expectancy of a sudden attack on them is becoming high, just like we saw yesterday. What do? Rearrange the officers, implement a National Security Risk Assessment Plan that ensures that the deployment avenues are watched closely, and the safer guidelines for your officers is prioritized. Then you will also have to make sure that your strategy is tailored towards a high-risk zone. In a high-risk zone, officers know what to do. In the medium-risk zone, officers know what to do. In a lower-risk zone, they know exactly what to do. It is clear that the environments they find themselves across the four major regions where they are is a high-risk zone, and they have to take it seriously.
And this is the second time they have been attacked. Do you predict that there's going to be more attacks as the time goes on?
Yeah, definitely. This is actually the third one. One officer died of Obuasi in course of line, where they were on the field and something happened to their equipment and he died off. So there has been a number of attacks. These are the three public ones that are made known. And that is why we are saying that from security management point of view, they operate within a hostile environment. And within a hostile environment, the strategy will have to be revised almost every now and then.
All right. Thank you very much. We have been speaking with Richard Kumado, who is a security consultant. Now, away from that, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has called for improved and effective learning outcomes in the education sector. Highlighting the need for relevant education, the Vice President called for a long-term planning of the sector. She was speaking during a courtesy call on her by the Chair Board and Management of Jacobs Foundation.
really here today because we want to show our commitment as a board, as an entire organization to our program, but also to our partnership and to your leadership.
We're already in partnership with your Ministry of Education as part of Gallup Additional Funding 2 round through a program called SCALE. So we are quite confident from the progress that the government made with Gallup 1 that the path of reform in education is well on the way. And Ghana has a good track record. There's been success in the first round. So we're here just to reaffirm a strong support for the work that the government and the Ministry of Education is doing in transforming education in Ghana.
Foundational learning, of course, is very important. And for me, it is not just quality education, although it's important, but it is about relevant education. What are the children learning? Who are they becoming? Why do we have the problems we do have? When do they begin to learn? And what should we have expected? And what are we seeing now? So that every so often we can go back, review what we are doing, and even get better outcomes. I'm also very interested in the notion of partnerships. In partnerships, as we all know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So when we know what works best, we make it even stronger, and whatever is not working, we ensure that it is working well. An area that is worthy of attention, I think, is about long-term planning. Nobody educates their people for no reason, if I may use it. So where do we think our economy should be in the next 10 years? And all these cases at the foundational level, when will they start working, and how well are we preparing them to ensure that in 10 years, 15 years time, when they start working, we've given them the right preparation. So we don't also end up with people who have knowledge, who don't know what to do with it. So improvements are very important. Much as we are interested in the classroom, we also should be interested in the person delivering the teaching or the person facilitating the learning process, so that their job is to ensure that they are creating an environment for learning to occur. So again, welcome and enjoy your stay in Ghana.
Thank you.
Away from education to politics, the campaign team of former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has expressed strong disapproval over recent personal attacks made by Kennedy Agyapong, a fellow contender in the upcoming New Patriotic Party presidential primaries. In a widely circulated video, Kennedy Agyapong accused Dr. Bawumia of making unfounded remarks about the health status of Mr. Albert Adu Boahen and fabricating claims related to the 1996 NPP primaries. Additionally, he branded Dr. Bawumia as a liar unfit for leadership. The Bawumia campaign has categorically denied these allegations, describing them as baseless, uninformed, and unwarranted. In a statement signed by Chairman of Dr. Bawumia's campaign communications, Nana Komia, further challenged Kennedy Agyapong to provide evidence in audio or video that substantiates his claims. The statement highlighted the importance of truth and decorum in political discourse. The criticizing Kennedy Agyapong remarks for their potential to mislead the public and sow discord within the NPP. The team further urged Kennedy Agyapong to issue an immediate apology to Dr. Bawumia for the false accusations. Meanwhile, flag bearer hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, says he remains focused and unfazed by recent comments made by his opponents ahead of the NPP primaries. Let's listen to him.
A few days ago, Yeti Anomabi Ebekanchre say 2 weeks here, I say ye co election. Omodi strategy be eba. Omoni yan crop for ye be almost omobe didima temsa, omobe chan troegumi so 2 weeks and watching me new ebe. In the Munina Munya alert, Mobetin Sembebri, and Yanokre, Omopese, Omosusa, Mwajin, Omobe didima temsa, Mamunfi, Omo. Mongo na mongo to abano emami enyasa mongo na mongo to abano emami we a yekoi enye atem didie competition na yeko omo say omunim say omo campaign no tonsuyum enti omo say if you miss the ball don't miss the man ɛne ndi na ɔmode atamdidie ɛba me hɔ no meso me mfie ɔmo ye be focus akodi nkunim January 31st 2026 na ohwa asema unka yempo omude be hye wenum edidi watem so aka se uye koshini we mu nyina ade a omo beye meso me mfie ɔmo.
Still in politics, former New Patriotic Party General Secretary Kwabena Agyapong has raised concerns over the state of democracy in Ghana, insisting that it has failed to deliver the results the nation and its founding fathers envisioned. Speaking on his policy vision, Kwabena Agyapong urged Ghanaians to reflect on whether the country today represents the freedom and prosperity envisioned at independence.
Engineer Kwabena Agyapong, a former General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party and a civil engineer, is number 5 on the ballot paper in the upcoming January 31st presidential primaries. He has been engaging party supporters with a message focused on unity, integrity, and a return to the party's core values ahead of the internal contest.
Reduce the opportunity that presidents have to pack the apex court with their favorites and restore true independence of our judiciary. Pillar 5, our vibrant informal sector, the very soul of our economy, yet it operates in the shadows. We will introduce a simplified national trade license regime to bring the sector into the formal fold. It will be designed to lift our heroes of the hustle into the light, our market traders, our artisans, tireless informal sector. You really are the soul of our economy. We will not punish you with taxes. We will empower you with licenses, protect you with the law, and support you with credit.
Engineer Kwabena Agyapong says he represents hope for the NPP, stressing the need to restore discipline, integrity, and service-driven leadership within the party.
We shall reignite a passion that unites us, that celebrates our talent, and reminds the whole world of the Ghanaians' indomitable spirit. Countrymen, this is the New Dawn agenda. It's a plan born of experience, tempered by sacrifice, and focused on execution. It is the alternative to the tired path that has brought us a demoralized, despondent, and disillusioned.
And the National Democratic Congress has announced guidelines for the conduct of its upcoming Ayawaso East Parliamentary Primary in the Greater Accra region. In a press release dated January 20, 2026, shared with Metro News, the party said nomination forms for the primary will be obtained from and submitted to the Greater Accra Region Office of the party upon completion. According to the NDC, the official delegates list